Hey guys, so today we're going to take a look at sling mounting options for the AK series of rifles. Now, if you're a fan of the AK like myself, you're always looking for ways to improve the system. One of the things that the AK is kind of weak on are single point sling mounting options. Now I have my Draco underfolder here that you've seen in previous videos, and you can see the sling adapter that comes with the A stock that I have installed on the rifle. It's actually on the right hand side of the rifle, and that isn't where I would actually prefer to have it. Some folks actually attach slings to the actual stock right here where it's slotted, but whatever you do, it's not necessarily an ideal situation, and that's where Echo 9.3, the manufacturer of these three devices I have laying here in front of me on the table, comes into play. Now I'm holding the version 1 Echo 9.3 sling, single point sling mount for the AK. Now these were actually devised by the owner of the company, Joe. Joe is a contractor and a firearms instructor, and Joe has worked overseas in Afghanistan and probably other places. But anyway, while he was on deployment in Afghanistan with some fellow contractors, one of his contractor buddies came to him with a Chinese-made AKM that had a broken sling mount. And he asked Joe if he could help him. So he came up with a quick fix that actually wound up being a single point attachment for that AK that involved paracord and making some holes and stuff like that. So anyway, he actually posted on AR15.com his solution to the problem that he had found over in Afghanistan. Well, it was popular on AR15.com, and the concept also was popular with his fellow contractors. He tells me he had a line of people standing outside of his door wanting this conversion or this modification done to their AKMs. So anyway, he got the idea, hey, I can manufacture these and sell them. Now the device I'm holding is the version 1. Joe has come up with 3 different versions of this sling mounting system, single point sling mounting system. This is version 1, and it's universal. It fits underneath the grip of the AK right here. And this one has a single hole that's downturned that allows you to attach a single point sling, and it can swivel to either side of the rifle. So this one's pretty much universal, can be used from either left or right hand side. That's the version 1. He also has a version 2, which attaches in the same way. You remove the pistol grip, the plate sets on there, it's actually reversible, so you can use it either way. And it has a single hole that sets off to one side or the other, depending on which side you mount it to, that you can attach a single point sling to. Now, while this is mounted to the rifle, the bolt that holds the pistol grip on also holds this on, and then you have this notch here, and they're all pretty much the same in design, have this notch here that sets around the trigger guard that keeps the device from actually rotating left or right, so it stays rigidly mounted. Now, one of the other benefits that I found of this particular device is that not only does it give you a very solid sling mounting point, now these are thick carbon steel with a nice parkerized finish that gives you the ability to actually mount this on an AKM that does not have a reinforcement plate. Now, if you do have a reinforcement plate, and I don't have a rifle that does, this may not actually work for you. But if you don't have a reinforcement plate, like on some of the Siegas and on this Draco, this will act as something of a reinforcement plate. It doubles the thickness of the metal here, preventing any damage should you drop the rifle on the pistol grip. So that's just kind of one of the side benefits to the design. And then, of course, we have the version 3. The version 3 is very similar to the version 2, with the exception that it has an upturned mounting point that mounts it so that it's sticking up slightly up from the receiver. Now, again, this version 3 can be mounted either way on the rifle, depending on which way you want it, on which side of the rifle you want it to stick out on. All 3 of these devices sell for $19.95, and so now we're going to take a look at how to actually install these devices to an AK. I'll show you just how simple it is. Then we'll take the rifle out to the range, mount a single point sling to it, and show you how the systems work. The installation of the Echo 9.3 single point sling adapters is pretty straightforward. Now I've disassembled my AK, and right here inside the receiver you can see the little block that sits in there. That's what actually holds, or the screw that holds the pistol grip on attaches to. Now I have a US Palm battle grip on here, so the tools to disassemble this is just a little bit different. But basically just stick a screwdriver, typically a slotted flathead for a standard AK pistol grip. But you stick that in there, Now take your index finger and hold that screw mount with your index finger as you unscrew the bolt that holds the pistol grip on. Once you get that off, there's a little block and it'll fall out, and this is where sometimes having 3 hands comes in handy. But choose the one that you want to mount. I'm going to choose the version 1. You just set it on here like this, and you'll notice how it fits around the trigger guard and the rivet there, and it fits around the mounting hole. Stick your finger in there, line things up. Sometimes it takes a couple tries. And just screw your pistol grip back on. Snug it up. And now you have the plate installed. Here's the version 2. And again, it just sets on the receiver like so, but you can reverse it. You can put it on the other side. So this is the way I'm going to mount it here really quick. And there's the version 2 mounted. As you can see, it sets off just to the side and gives you that single point right here, and it works great, it looks like, with the safe side folding stock. It'll still fold. Although it's probably going to get in the way, it would seem. So it looks like the version 1 would definitely be the best option for this particular configuration of this rifle. And here's the version 3. And again, it just sets on the rifle like so. And here it is on the right-hand side of the receiver. And you can also do it on the left-hand side. Actually like this, I'm sorry. Now this obviously would interfere with the A-side folding stock. As I mentioned, this would interfere with the A-side folding stock, but it would work great with a fixed stock or a right side folder, like on one of the Arsenals. There you have it. Very simple installation. Now let's get this rifle to the range with some of these plates installed and see how well they work. Okay guys, Jared and I from 21st Century Firearms are out here today, and we have the Echo 9.3 single point sling attachment for the Draco SBR AK here with us, and we actually have all of the attachment points out here with us today. And what we're going to do is do a little bit of test firing with the sling attachment points on the AK and show you how they work. Now the version 1 that we have attached right now is probably my favorite because it actually slides freely from one side or the other of the AK, and it doesn't have a single point hanging off one side or the other like the version 2 and the version 3. So the version 1, again, easily allows a transition from right side to left side shooting, as Jared's going to show us here really quick. You'll notice that the sling doesn't get in the way, it moves from one side or the other. Now another thing that's kind of neat about it is you can see how he's holding it right now. It kind of follows the natural contour of the shooting hand. So it feels really good. It doesn't get in the way of the firing position at all. Let's take a look at the next attachment point. Okay, so now we have the version 2 mounted to this Arsenal SGL 2194. Now I can still fold the stock with this mounted to that point. That's about it. Then it actually interferes with the stock. If you are using this particular mounting point with a folding stock rifle, you'll probably want to mount it to the opposite side that your stock actually folds. But even with this hole mounted as I have it on the left-hand side of the receiver, I can still go from right side to left side, back to right side fairly easily. It's not quite as handy, in my opinion, as the version 1, but if the version 1 gets in your way, you don't like it hanging down just across the top of your hand, this version 2 is a good alternative, I believe. And so now we have the version 3 mounted, and as you can see, the version 3 has an upturn to it. Now again, you can mount this to either side of the rifle, but because I'm right-hand dominant, I have it mounted to the left-hand side. And again, it carries very nicely. The rifle stows out of the way. You can bring it up quickly. And even with that upturned mounting point, I can still transition to right or left-hand side shooting. It is a little bit more awkward because it's upturned, and the sling will want just a little extra slack in it to compensate for it pulling a little bit when you go to your left-hand side if you're a right-hand shooter. But other than that, the sling system works very well. I really do like them. Okay guys, some final thoughts on the Echo 9 III Sling attachment points for the AK. Now again, there are 3 of these versions out there, the V1, V2, and V3, and I've shown you all 3 of those products in this video here today. Now Joe tells me that he is working on a version 4, and that is going to be for the Draco pistols. So right now you can pick these up for $19.95. That is an introductory price. They are going to jump up in price by a couple of bucks, but even at 23 bucks or so, these are a very good value, I think, because they give you something that you typically don't find on an AK, and that is a solid single point attachment for slings. Basically, you have 3 to choose from, so you can pick the one that suits your needs the best. And at 20 bucks a pop, you can buy all 3 and still only be out 60 bucks. Not a bad deal. If you have any questions about the sling mounting option, you can post those questions to our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/militaryarms. Again, any questions about this or questions about any of our other videos can be posted there. Again, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.